Hello and welcome. It's our pleasure having you on board as we journey through the pages of this weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkinson. Today we'll reminisce on some of our heroes' contribution to making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families and do business. Plus, Healthwise examines our responsibility to get vaccinated. Stay with us for these and more interesting features after this important message.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect. If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
Jamaicans are being strongly encouraged to get the jab to reduce the risk of hospitalization and deaths linked to COVID-19. In this next feature, your questions related to the vaccine are answered.
We cannot continue in managing the pandemic by always shutting down. Shutting down has serious financial implications.
That's why government has opted to scale up its vaccination drive. It's another instrument in the state's toolbox aimed at wresting the country from the grips of the COVID-19 pandemic. And unlike other measures currently in place, this tool is one that only you can effectively utilize. Since March 2020, Jamaica has been in a fight against the coronavirus. So far, the island has taken heavy losses. The death toll is rising. COVID-19 cases are increasing. Hospitalization rates are going up. Schools have been forced online. Business and recreational hours have been curtailed, and the list goes on. But now we have a chance to turn the tide, and that fighting chance is through vaccination.
Why should I take a COVID-19 vaccine?
Are COVID-19 vaccines safe?
Are there side effects?
Yes, the questions are many, but the government is making itself available to give you the answers you seek. Let's start from the beginning. Vaccines are a type of medicine that stimulates a person's immune system to protect against the disease. When vaccinated, the body can make antibodies to fight an infection before you become unwell. COVID-19 vaccines are more than 82% effective in preventing infection. The vaccine is administered in either 2 doses or a single shot, depending on the brand. In the case of the 2-dose vaccine, the first and second shots are given 3 weeks apart. Once a person receives the 2 doses, they are not fully protected until 2 weeks later. Common side effects of the COVID-19 vaccine include injection site pain, fatigue, fever, and aches. Persons may also experience other side effects which don't usually last longer than 3 days. After 72 hours, if side effects continue, you are asked to seek medical attention. Vaccinated persons may still be able to get infected with COVID-19, though the chances of this are minimal. But what's more comforting is that you are unlikely to get severely ill from the infection. Now that we've got the basics out of the way, let's get down to the meat of the matter.
Why should I take the COVID-19 vaccine?
The vaccine is there to protect your life, your livelihood, your happiness against a virus that can kill you.
Why should I take this hurry-come-up medication?
The work in the development of the vaccine depended on all the scientific knowledge that we've built up over the decades, developing the childhood vaccines that are so effective and safe, but also went back to 2005 with the SARS outbreak.
These vaccines have a long history of development. Though they were rapidly brought to market, they were in development for a long time. The technology around the development of these vaccines is well tested and well proven as well.
How effective are vaccines?
The vaccines that are authorized by the WHO are proven to be effective and safe. They are not perfect, but we do find that they are very effective in preventing people getting severe disease, and they are safe. It's very rare serious adverse events occur.
Can COVID-19 vaccine cause death?
The level of concerns in terms of adverse reactions, those have been statistically insignificant and very small. So in general, the vaccines appear to be very, very safe.
In fact, you have a bigger risk if you go into your car in the next hour and drive for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You have a bigger risk of dying in a road accident.
Can the vaccine worsen a medical condition?
Calculate your risk. If you feel you're sick and you're too sick to take it, get your doctor's advice.
Is the vaccine the virus?
The vaccine is prepared in a way that it cannot really infect you. All it can do is stimulate your immune system.
It is in the achievement of herd immunity safely that we will be able to dispense with these non-clinical measures, which have had a devastating impact on our economy.
When is the best time to take the vaccine?
The time is now. We have vaccines. We have enough vaccines that if you should come out tomorrow, we'll be able to vaccinate everyone who would come.
Does the vaccine really protect?
It will almost always protect you from serious disease, even due to Delta. But it may not prevent you from becoming infected. You could still get infected with the virus, but your body resists getting very ill. And most people will resist getting any symptoms, but there is still a little risk that you could. Hence, we keep on the mask. All of us are vaccinated, but we keep on the mask.
How can I get the COVID vaccine in my community?
We will come to a community near you. If you are in doubt as to a location, contact your closest health center. We have 325 of them across the country, normally within close proximity to a community, or your parish hospital, or your member of parliament, or your councillors, or your church leaders or civic leaders, because we're going to be reaching out to them.
We have mapped where our persons with special needs are, and we will be engaging them.
Which COVID vaccine is the best?
The best vaccine is the one that is available. And we will have all the approved vaccines, or most of the approved vaccines. But take the first vaccine that is available. That is the best vaccine. That's the safest one, because the quicker you get it, the safer you are.
Let's get back on track. Let's keep ourselves and our families safe. After all, we're one Jamaica, one family.
Behind every Jamaican medical cannabis product is a story. To create that perfect plant requires the care, patience, and nurturing of that special farmer. When harvested, it is carefully transported to a processing facility where it is transformed into high-quality medical cannabis products for consumption by responsible consumers. All this and more is possible through the closed-loop system created by the Cannabis Licensing Authority to protect the integrity of Jamaica's medical cannabis industry. For more information, call the Cannabis Licensing Authority at 876-654-7582 or visit our website at cla.org.jm.
Proper nutrition is key to healthy growth and development of the human body and is important in preventing diseases. In this next feature, we'll show you how to check what's in your food and measure your meal portions to ensure you are consuming a healthy diet.
Your body needs energy, and we call this our daily requirements of calories. And for Jamaican men, it's about 2,100. For Jamaican women, it's about 1,900 calories per day. The calorie is just a unit of energy to say how much energy you need to get around your daily activities and so on. If you're more active and you're not in a desk job, then you're going to burn more calories. If you go to work, when you get up in the morning, you sit in a car and you go to work, you sit at a desk all day, and then lunchtime come, you order and they deliver the food to you, and then you eat that and you go back and sit again, and then you sit in a bus or a car and you go home. So you're sitting all day, you're not doing much, versus somebody who's on the road and they're walking around or they're standing all day like the teachers and nurses and so on. Then you'll realize the difference in how much energy you will need. And so if you are more active, you should be eating a little bit more. But the problem is that everybody is eating as if they're working in sugarcane fields, chopping cane all day. And this is the problem. So we consume more calories than we are burning off. And every day if we keep on consuming calories, you need 3,500 calories to make 1 pound of fat. One soda, if you look on the serving size for these things, these juices and so on, you'll think that, oh, it's just 110 calories. But how many servings come in that container? About 3 or 2.5. So you can easily drink 300 calories like that. And if you do that 5 times for the day, that's 1,500 calories. You almost don't need to eat anything else for the rest of the day. So the excess calories come in the body, and then the body begins to store them as fat. And then you put on more weight and more weight. You have to watch the pastries and the breads and all of these things that people, even when they're vegetarian, they still have a lot of these little snacks and so on. These things are full of calories. You know that one of the cream crackers is about 450 calories. Water crackers is about 500. Yeah, nobody don't want to hear. I never want to believe it either. But this is what you get, the packs that you get, and a lot of people eat them with butter, right? So can you imagine how many calories you're putting in your body with one little snack? And you don't talk about the tea yet, with the milk, the condensed milk and the sugar that you have to have that with. All of these things, they add up without you even knowing.
The ingredients label will go from the most to the least in a product. So if the product is making a claim, look at where that claim is. If it is 1, 2, or 3, because if it falls less than that, you're really not getting value for your money, right, in terms of content. The nutrition facts. One of the first things you're going to look at is the servings per container, and this says 2.5, which means it's 2.5 servings in the container. You are not supposed to drink it, you must share it, right? And then you're going to look at your calories. It says 90 calories, but it's 90 calories per serving, and it's 2.5 servings. So it's 2.5 times 90, which comes out to about 225. And then you come down and you look at your sugar, and it's 22 grams of sugar, but it's per serving. So the entire container is 2.5 times 22, which works out to about 55, 56 if my maths is right. And there's 4 grams equal 1 teaspoon, so you end up with about roughly 14 teaspoons of sugar. And that is, you use this template for all the products that have nutritional facts on them. This is 14 teaspoons of sugar, and the American Heart Association recommends that for an adult male, you're supposed to consume 9 teaspoons of added sugar per day. For an adult female, it is 6 teaspoons of added sugar per day. And for a child, it's less than 6 teaspoons per day. And a child here, we're talking about from 2 to 18 years old. Don't look at a container and judge it by the size alone. It's very important to read the label so you know exactly. And look at it, 220 calories. For parents, we're asking them, to be very mindful of how much sugar they're giving their kids, right? Because it impacts upon their health in the long term.
We try to provide information to parents and guardians, teachers, anyone about the alternatives to these sugary drinks, because really you don't need them in your diet. You can get enough sugar that you need from the foods that you eat, the carbohydrates, which are converted to sugars in your body, which give you energy. So some of the alternatives are, of course, water. It's the best one, but there's also fresh fruit juices. So blending your own juices without adding sugar, and you'll have the natural sugars and fiber from the fruits. There's coconut water. It should be, you should actually drink this in moderation because it does have quite a high sugar content, but it is a good alternative. For the children, freezing the juices into popsicles or ice cubes so that it's more interesting for them to drink, as well as doing infused water. So infused water is it's a process where you cut up your favorite fruit or vegetable or even mint leaves or aloe. You place it in water overnight so that the vitamins, the minerals, all the goodness from the fruits and vegetables are infused into the water, and you can have that. It's not sugar sweetened, and it gives you the vitamins and minerals that you need throughout the day. And then for children, there's unsweetened milk. So not flavored milks like the chocolate milks, but unsweetened milk doesn't have a high sugar content, and it also will give the children the calcium that they need for their growing bodies as well.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Submit your entries by October 31. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free. The JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
Let's reflect on the life and work of two of our national heroes, George William Gordon and Samuel Sharp.
George William Gordon, now Right Excellent George William Gordon, national hero, was born in 1815, the son of a Scottish father and an enslaved Jamaican mother. He got a call to make the world a better place, and for that he was never forgiven. You should know then that conditions in Jamaica then were just unbelievable. People were suffering. 311,000 persons in 1838 enslaved, received their freedom and were just thrown outside. And what George William Gordon did, he bought lands and he cut up the lands and allowed the poor, the dispossessed, to have access to the land. And his colleagues did not like that. He chastised the governor in meetings right at the space that the governor needed to do more for the people. And the governor didn't like it, called him a mischief maker. And this is the space where George William Gordon came to, as it were, give up himself because he heard they were looking for him. And from here, he was taken to St. Thomas, where he was tried and hanged on the 23rd of October, 1865. And he reached the Friday, and they hanged him the Monday morning. But before he was hanged, he asked for permission to write a letter to his dear wife, Lucy. He had married this lady, Shannon, Lucy Shannon. He married her, and he asked that he could write a letter, and they allowed him to write the letter. That would have been Sunday night, early Monday morning. He wrote the letter to say that he was innocent. And if anything that he did that was bad, was to help poor people.
Think on this. How would you feel if Sunday is your regular rest day off from work, but just because Christmas Day falls on that day, your boss unilaterally decides you do not deserve an extra day of rest? Added to that, the previous Christmas you were entitled to 3 days off during the season, but months before this particular holiday, a law was passed giving only 2 days. This is the kind of injustice and ill treatment that was meted out to Samuel Sharp. Up to 1830, the enslaved were allowed 3 days holiday at Christmas. In February 1831, the House of Assembly passed a law reducing Christmas holidays from 3 to 2, Christmas and Boxing Day only. Since Christmas Day 1831 fell on Sunday, a rest day, Sharp believed that they were entitled to the following Tuesday. A strike ensued. The resistance to work ballooned into what history records as the Christmas Rebellion, the ill-fated event that helped pave the way to freedom. Born about 1780, Sam Sharp was the slave of an English lawyer in Montego Bay, St. James. Sharp was the lay deacon of the Birchhill Baptist Church and became a leader in the congregation. Samuel, Sam, Daddy Sharp, saw the injustices of slavery and inspired his fellow brothers and sisters to participate in Jamaica's first strike action. There were no labor laws at that time that spoke to the rights or privileges of slaves. Sharp may be considered a forerunner to the labor movement as he fought for the rights of his fellow workers. For this, Samuel Sharp was hanged on May 23, 1832. But as he said,
"I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live in slavery."
In 1834, the Abolition Bill was passed by the British Parliament, and in 1838, slavery was abolished.
From the beating of the drums to traditional dance, what do you know about Gere? Take a look.
There's no one way to truly play the beat of our Jamaican culture. No one way to unfold the depth of the various movements that are intricately intertwined with the drums or whatever uniquely made instruments that accompany each other. And certainly, no one way to shake our hips, tap our feet, move our hands or dress to distinguish the truest form of our heritage in dance. But there are certainly several ways to tell the island's tale of musical artistry and infectious rhythms. Today, we tell the story of the African retention in one of our Jamaican traditional folk forms, Gere.
Iwo, Iwo, Gere. Iwo, Iwo, Gere. Come William live with we Gere. Iwo, Iwo, Gere. Come William live with we Gere. Iwo, Iwo, Gere. Iwo, Iwo, Gere. Iwo, Iwo.
Gere is one of Jamaica's more than 10 traditional folk forms that are mostly influenced by our African heritage and retention. Today, we take a close look at this work of art.
Bendy like a open me bendy Zaki anyone bendy.
To observe the fundamental rhythm of this artistry, we visited the award-winning William Knibb High School in Trelawney.
Hello Bayado, hello Bayado, hello Bayado. You write me love letter, me put it on the table, me woman come read it. Hello Bayado, hello Bayado, hello Bayado.
Gere is a dance of African origin that is usually performed the second night after the death of a person. The dance is very lively, flirtatious, and celebratory in nature, geared towards cheering the bereaved.
I should tell you too that most of our traditional folk from the African retentions, they are more similarities than differences. And the differences come sometimes in the songs or the music instrument or some of the steps. But there are more similarities than differences.
With that said, the Gere dance is similar to that of Dinky Minnie and Zella, with more emphasis being placed on the hippie movement, executed mainly by the female dancers.
The main movement for the ladies is the hippie movement, right? The hippie movement, and it's not a whiny movement. It's not a whiny movement, it's just a little hippie movement, like the mentor movement. a little dip. All right? And for the males, you'll find them doing the knock-knee like the dinky mini.
The movements, although vigorous, are very subtle. The males would maintain the knock-knee position while exhibiting various styles and nuances as they execute their movement with subtle breaks towards their female partner, which is signaled by the drums.
Bamboo, bam, bamboo. You hear me in a bamboo. You hear me in a bamboo. Bamboo, bam, bamboo.
The music and songs are done in ring game style and often employ a call and response, which indicates the type of movement the dancer should do.
So you have a caller and have the response. The group respond to it.
Like all our other traditional folk forms, the Geri dance would not be possible without lively musical accompaniment. A host of instruments are used to bring life to the dance.
In the Geri, you will see the rattle and the bass drum, which is a dominant to revival. But then the dominant thing in Geri that makes it different from Dinky Mini and the others is the pot cover. And that gives a nice sound. All right?
As it relates to costume, Geri dancers are clad in the typical African retention dress code, loose skirt and peasant blouse for the females, and tailored pants and dashiki shirt for males.
All over African retention dances, traditional folk forms, they are done with 16 persons performing, and you have 6 others outside doing the singing and playing the instruments.
Today, Geri is mostly practiced in the western end of the island, but you will also see it being performed as part of the annual JCDC Festival of the Performing Arts competition. One thing is for sure, wherever it is practiced, one cannot help but notice that Geri has its own distinctive flair, which makes it a vital asset in Jamaica's rich amalgamation of cultures.
And when you bend down low, and when you bend down low, and when inna me inna me, and when you bend down low, and when you bend down low, and when you bend.
We've come to the end of Jamaica Magazine for today, but be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, there is more to watch on our website, jis.gov.jm, or our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team here at the JIS, I am Adrian Atkinson, encouraging you to take the COVID-19 vaccine. Wear your mask, keep your distance where possible, wash your hands or sanitize, and do stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.